Hi people, Murno Ravenberg here again as always. This video obviously is going to be on the Parthian Empire and their occult alignment. I repeat, the Parthian Empire. Parthian, as you can see for yourself, is spelled Parthian. Now, the Parthians as a whole, they were also one of the major civilizations essentially. Either coming before or in the aftermath, I think the latter, in the aftermath of the Persian Empire. Essentially after Alexander's Diadochi, his successors essentially ruled the region. Um, in any case, in terms of the Parthian Empire, they were a very mobile empire. They were comprised, generally speaking, or their population in general consisted of horsemen. Okay, that's how they moved around. They were like steppe horsemen, and that's how they went about everything. I initially suspected the Parthians to be mercurial, specifically Gemini, and yeah, lo and behold, they are. I know because everything I know about Parthia is purely that it was all about fast-paced movement for them. I mean, really fast-paced movement on a day-to-day basis, as well as overall. For the rest, they were a powerhouse as well. They weren't the wealthiest or the strongest, but they could easily hold their own from any aggressor, essentially. And they also have a lunar affinity. That's why they also have a lunar affinity. But officially, they're mercurial. Zodiac sign that they align with is Gemini, unsurprisingly. And they were very skilled at being mercurial, in a matter of speaking. Okay, fluidity in movement and motion, gracefulness and whatnot, and they were also a military force to be reckoned with. That's all that there is to say. There's nothing else to say really on Parthia or the Parthian Empire. Check as always, or as usual, the videos that will appear at the end screen if you want to know more about Parthia or the Parthian Empire, if you're not familiar with them already or if you're just curious. Last but not least, the last thing I'm going to say is that essentially, the thing that the Parthians are most well known for is defeating the Romans, and you'll see what I mean. I mean, oh boy, the Mercurial definitely shines out in what is called the Battle of Carrhae. Carrhae is spelled Carrhae. This battle took place around 53 BC. Okay, 53, the year 53 before Christ. Long story short, to keep a real long story short, the Romans tried invading Parthia. This was back when Rome was still a superpower, the superpower essentially. They tried invading the Parthian Empire or Parthia, and they were soundly defeated by the Parthian military. And if you take a look at how things occurred, then you'll clearly see what I mean in terms of mercurial affinity, because the Parthians literally just hit them nonstop with hit and run tactics, and the Romans literally could not move. And this is also where I refer back to my original video on the Romans, essentially. The first video that I did about occult alignments and whatnot, about how Rome was a Martian, but Western Rome was a Martian empire, and stating that power only goes so far. See what I mean? The drawback is that they were, that Rome was too rigid, especially on a military front. Power is great, but it only goes so far. And the Parthians literally just wore down the Roman military in that battle. Okay, they just kept shooting arrows, volley after arrow volley after arrow volley upon them, raining arrow volleys down upon them, and the Romans couldn't do anything. The second they tried to get close to the Parthians, they were just like, okay, off I go with my horse. And it just turned into a catch me if you can kind of deal. And the Parthians just pinned the Romans and just wore them down, ground them down with innumerable arrow volleys. And for the rest, they couldn't do anything. And that was the end of the Roman army. It was a disastrous defeat for Rome, obviously. Like I said, Rome was at their strongest back then. But again, this emphasizes my point. Power can only go so far. The Parthians demonstrate to full effect, with this battle alone, they demonstrated in full effect, or to full effect, how effective movement can be, fast-paced movement and swiftness applied on a civilizationary level, if you will. That's all. See you guys later. Bye.